Good afternoon, everyone. I am so happy to be here again in one additional broadcast of a workshop that I've designed. This specific workshop is actually designed as per the request of one of my students who has been following me, and you know who you are. Thank you so much. And he sent me a question saying, okay, so I watched this and I watched that and I watched this, but how do I implement all of that? How do I take all that you said and put it into my time management? Because that's what he struggled with. So in today's presentation slash live event that I'm doing, I want to take a summary of this whole month and a half of different workshops that we did in terms of education and how they relate to study techniques, and summarize it in a way that you can all manage your time. And I want to start with, of course, wait one quick second. I want to start with our title of today, and that's Unlocking Your Academic Potential. I'm going to guide you through a step-by-step to allow you and help you get the time management that you need for your study. So first and foremost, time management is really a plan. It's the way you strategically plan, organize, and prioritize everything that you have to do. It does involve setting goals, and I've mentioned goals before, but we'll do it again today. It involves breaking into steps and also blocking time of what you're going to do for each activity. So time management is really not a myth. It's not something people say just because they want to say it. Time management is a real thing. It is very, very crucial. It's crucial for you to prioritize your tasks. It is very important that you understand how long a given task will take you. It is important that you plan in advance and you know what are your things that you have to do. What is it that you have to do throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, and how you manage your time to accomplish these. So an effective time management is really essential. And I know that originally it's titled for students, but it really is for everyone. It's a time management that would assist you to plan your work-life balance and accomplish things at work when you are at work, not carrying that work home. How many of us take work home because we weren't able to finish the work at work? All of these techniques that I'm going to talk about, really 3 steps, very important steps, are good for whether you are a student, whether you are a lifelong learner or an entrepreneur, or even employed by someone and you're working at work. Goal setting, very important for anyone that is trying to accomplish specific tasks throughout their day. So I want to mention the importance of time management. And I know I've mentioned that before in one of my other workshops. The time management is really not just how you manage your time. It is something that creates so much more in your life. First, it increases your productivity. Because when you prioritize and you allocate time for specific tasks, then you know what you're doing and you're really being productive about what it is that you're doing. It decreases your stress level. And we talked about stress when we talked about procrastination. Feel free to go back and look at it. When you are procrastinating, you are creating this later status that you will get back to that task later. That later really increases your stress level because as you say later, you come closer to your deadline, and therefore you are stressing yourself even more to accomplish that task. So really managing your time is bringing your task to be done way before it's due and way before it's actually stressing you to complete it. It improves your decision making because now you're not making impulsive decisions. You are not making a decision because you're rushing to make it. You're making it because you planned in advance, and whatever decision you make in that task that you're doing, whichever task that is, it's really based on calculated move and thinking through what you are going to do. Number 4, it enhances good achievements. When you break large goals into smaller goals, it is achieving the smaller goals that really allows you to achieve the bigger ones. So breaking them and enhancing your goals allows the achievement of so much more and accomplishment of a lot more smaller manageable tasks. You have a healthy work-life balance. As I mentioned before, a lot of us are not able to complete the work in a timely manner. So you take work home and then you take work on vacation with you because you know you have to finish and you have a deadline. But if you plan in advance and you know that you have to, let's say, go away somewhere, and you accomplish that task or complete the task before you go away, you are free to enjoy your life. You also will have time for your hobbies. If any of you have a hobby and you want to do things that you can only do once you finished whatever you had to finish, so you don't stress yourself. And sometimes we go and do the things we want to do first, even though we know work is there and we have to accomplish those things. We don't 100% enjoy what we're doing because we are still focused on the work we have to accomplish. So planning and managing your time allows you to really get a very balanced work-life balance. The next one is increasing effectiveness. We've talked about the techniques of time management. You can go back and look at it. Pomodoro technique is one of the most common techniques that allows you to increase your productivity and increase the time that you're working through to be very effective. Even though the intervals, as per the Pomodoro technique, are 25-minute intervals of work, that work is so focused that you really get to accomplish a lot throughout those 25 minutes. Accountability and discipline, you set yourself deadlines. So you are accountable to finish whatever task it is that you finish in a timely manner. And lastly, improves quality of life. When you really engage in managing your time and separating work from the rest of your life, you are able to accomplish so much more and even enjoy what you are doing as your work. So there are many benefits of the effective time management, and I've mentioned those benefits, but the more advanced you are in managing your time, the more enjoying you are the tasks that you have to do and able to accomplish those tasks in so much productivity. So I'm going to walk you through those steps, but if you need coaching in doing that, I am here as your educational coach. I've done this many times for myself. I've done this for others. Some of my students that go and do DAT or MCAT exams, and they don't know how to break down the learning. They don't know how to manage their time. There's so much material that they have to study. I can help you and do this for you. We can sit down and get your time and what you need to accomplish and really block your times and make sure that we have realistic goals to do that. So how is all that done? We all have 24 hours a day. It's given. Each one of us have the same exact amount of time per day. So how come some people more productive than others? How is it that some people accomplish more than what others accomplishing? The key is really doing effective planning technique, which is stage 1. Then walk through proven implementation techniques or strategies. And lastly, evaluation method. I'm going to walk you through those 3 stages. Stage 1 is the planning. When you plan, you're basically setting yourself a goal. And why is a clear goal so important? Because when you have a clear goal, you first have direction because you know exactly which path you're taking. You know exactly what it is that you have to do. Number 2, you have motivation because you are defining the objective and you inspire your action. You have to do certain things. And number 3, focus. You are clear on what you have to do and it helps you concentrate. So when you plan, setting your goals is one of the most important things in understanding your effective time management. So first, by setting your goal, you know what you need to accomplish. You may know or may determine as I go through the steps how long each task takes, and then you are able to plan that. The second part of planning is prioritizing tasks. I'm going to walk you through something that's known as the Eisenhower matrix, and this is a well-known technique, but I'll walk you through and explain what that is. And of course, creating a schedule, put it into action. So when you start, you're going to break down your goals. First, you have to know what is it that you want to achieve. You're going to identify the most important techniques for you and then break them into smaller, manageable tasks. And we talked about it as well in one of my previous workshops. One of the techniques is really identifying and breaking down into SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. You got to be specific on what the goal is, measurable. You can measure it in terms of how long it's going to take you. It's achievable. You know, you're not setting yourself for failure. You're not saying that you have to read a whole book by tomorrow because you know it's not realistic. If the book is 400 pages long, you're planning ahead and you're breaking it into achievable parts. And then be relevant in terms of what you need to achieve that goal. And of course, time bound. It has to have a specific amount of time that it is referring to. Mind mapping is another way, and subtasks is a third method of breaking down goals. But I want to focus today on prioritizing your goals based on how important or urgent they are. This prioritizing is known as the Eisenhower matrix, which allows you to understand by asking yourself what needs to be done first. So you have to understand the difference between something that's important and something that's urgent. And when you know what's important and what's urgent, you can create your schedule. The schedule can be either a physical or an electronic planner. You always should leave room for unexpected tasks. So let's say you are in your 25-minute of work and you get an important call that you have to take, that you can't wait until your 5-minute break. That actually may push your schedule. So allow yourself, even throughout the day, have breaks, but also have some room for if something happens and you can't really do the exact time that you allocated for something. So let's talk about the Eisenhower matrix. It's known also as the urgent important matrix, and it was popular by President Eisenhower. He was known to be able to very efficiently time manage his tasks. It includes or made up of 4 parts in the matrix, or 4 boxes. The matrix has 4 categories or quadrants, if you wish. The first quadrant is your urgent and important. These are tasks that are very important, that you know they're also urgent. They cannot be waiting until you're available to do that. So everything that's both urgent and important goes in that quadrant. This is the prioritization. This is the one that you do, okay? That's your do quadrant. Everything that you got to do right away, it requires your crucial attention. It requires you to do this like right now. So that's what you have to do now. The second quadrant is what I call the schedule. It's important, but it's not urgent. So you can schedule it to be done sooner than later because it is important, but it's not urgent, not something that you have to focus your attention right now. So here you're focused on being proactive, and we talked about proactive in my last book review, the 7 most effective habits of highly successful people. One of the things is being proactive. Find a solution for something. Plan for your strategy of whatever it is that you're doing. So that would be your second quadrant. It's still important and it has a long-term goal, but it's not something that you should be doing like right away. The third quadrant is urgent, but not important. Although it is urgent, it's something that you need to delegate time for. Even though it's not important, it is something that needs to be done. So it must be completed, but doesn't affect any of your long term. That's usually an interruption or a distraction or something that happens. Let's say you're in the middle of doing your work and you get an important email. And that email has to be responded right now, or you get an important call, or you're in the middle of a meeting and somebody walks in and got to take you out of there because there's something important going on. These are all urgent that needs to be delegated and taken care of at the time that they're happening, but they're not affecting any of your other goals. And they're not something that you could have either predicted or could have allocated any other time. So if you know things like that, that would go under quadrant 3. And of course, quadrant 4, not urgent and not important. This is the delete quadrant. It's something that you shouldn't be doing. It's something that even after you put all your to-do lists, if you have still things that are remaining, these are things that you don't have to do. These are things that are not important. They are time wasters. They should be minimized, like time on social media, doing some activity that is just not important. So with this matrix, the way you use that is once you put down all of your to-do list, like a whole list of the things that you got to do, and that could be weekly, that could be planned monthly, that could be planned daily, depending on what activities you're doing. Then you break them into each of these quadrants and then attend to the tasks that are both urgent and important first. You start with quadrant 1, you invest time or schedule for quadrant 2, you delegate or limit quadrant 3. That is, as we said, things that can happen, but you really minimize them if possible. Like if it's urgent and has to be attended right away, you do that. But if not, then it's later. And then avoid quadrant 4. Make sure that these tasks are really not important. They are not part of your goal. They will take you away from your goal. They may distract you from achieving your goal. And that's just an example to show you how you can do that. You can print it, you can make it yourself. There are so many templates on Google that you can find. Urgent, important is your due. Urgent and not important, that's what you delegate time to. Not urgent, not important, not urgent and important, that's the schedule. And of course, deleted, it's also color coded. Delete is the red one. So the green is what you do, the red is what you don't do at all, or try not to do as much as possible. Once you planned all your tasks, now it's the implementation. Now it's the time where you implement all of the tasks that you have to do and turn them into action. You take practical tools and you enhance your decision for make the time for that. We talked about time blocking. There are many different techniques. Once you prioritize your tasks and you know what's important and what's not important, set realistic deadlines. It's important that you know what is the task, when is it due, in order to really give it enough time. If possible, to eliminate distraction. In one of my other workshops, I've given you tools and different apps that allow you to eliminate your phone distractions, your app distractions, keep your phone away if you could, eliminate all the notifications on your computer, anything that you can to minimize your distractions. Don't forget to take breaks. One of the most effective technique, in my opinion, is the Pomodoro technique. Gives you 25 minutes of productivity with 5-minute break every time. And every 4 to 5 intervals, you take a bigger break. Don't forget to take breaks. It is very important. We sometimes get caught off in the work and we think it's only a couple minutes, we'll finish. But if you don't take the break, you actually don't become more productive. You hurt your productivity because you do need to take break from time to time. The third step is your evaluation. Evaluation is as crucial as step 1 and step 2, or stage 1 and stage 2. You evaluate at the end of your accomplishment, and you evaluate and reflect on what you have done. It really helps that you go through the task you did and you go through your schedule and you reflect on your week worth of work or month worth of work. This is how you know what exactly worked. You will be able to see what technique worked for you. Did you allocate the correct amount of time? Were you able to complete the task within the time frame? Were you able to achieve something through the deadline? Did you have a lot of distractions? Did you have a lot of emergencies? Did you have enough time for certain things with those distractions? So a lot of the evaluation goes with it, and that is at the end of every completed work period, whether it's a day, a week, or a month, whatever works for you. But that allows you to start the next week or the next month stronger, because now you know what worked. Now you know how well you time managed, how well you blocked the time for specific tasks. Did you take enough time to prepare for whatever task you were doing? And if not, then you know that next time you got to plan more. So evaluation is really crucial for your success. I want to open the stage for you guys. I really do enjoy your comments. I enjoy receiving messages from you, private messages, text messages, whatever way it is, because I do want to create workshops of things that you are interested in. I'm working towards my next month workshop, and in the next month, I'm going to work on communication skill. The whole month will be discussions on how to communicate between different individuals in your life, interpersonal skills. I will be suggesting you books that I think you can read, and at the end of the month or sometimes throughout the month, I will review a book like I reviewed this month. But feel free to ask me questions, and if there's anything you are personally interested in, send me a message. I'll be more than happy to review and maybe even have a talk on that, or have a PowerPoint on this that will allow you to get a little bit more information. Until our educational journey crosses again, always remember that learning is a gateway to a brighter future. Pleasure having you guys. Looking forward to see you all next week. Have a good week.